welcome. Guys, it's World Tarot Day, and it's also Tarot Tuesday. How the fuck did those fall on the same day? And I didn't even know that was going to happen. I feel like so magical. So, it's another week. How's your week been? What happened last week? Our card for last week was Justice Reversed. Did you experience any injustice going on last week somewhere within either your personal life or other intricate parts of your life perhaps? Or maybe you managed to somehow make an injustice just again with the power of your alchemy. I did that. I don't know what you did, but that's what I did last week. So, we are guided once again. I'm excited about these two cards actually because I think they resonate super a lot with me. And I feel like, I don't know, I feel like it'll resonate with a lot of people. Obviously, it will. It's a reflection of us collectively. But I think that it's a turning point compared to, the cards in the past. We're kind of like saying things. I feel like this is saying something like we're starting to see the ripple effect of the changes that we really have been implementing in the past couple of weeks. Whereas, sometimes those things don't really bear fruit up until, much, much, much later. I think this is the turning point where, like, if you do overcome one of some, that big thing that is really, really holding you back, if to this week you can finally take that thing and make one tiny shift in how you react to it, it'll change everything. I keep hitting this poor guy. Sorry. So, I think it's a very magical week. I'm going to start with showing you the angel card, and then I'm actually going to tune into Twitch too, so I can see who I'm speaking to. It's Tarot Tuesday. I love Tarot Tuesday. This is my favorite day of the week. It's the day of the week where I have the most work to do for myself to really like educate myself and push myself to find everything I can possibly learn about this. But it's very, very satisfying as well. So I don't mind. So, the angel card is just a little tiny message from our angel, and then this will also be the angel that will be watching over us throughout this week. So whenever we feel like we are struggling in certain aspects of certain things, we can call upon this angel throughout the week, because he's already kind of in the background watching you, seeing if you're moving in the direction of him or if you're falling further into your limited belief systems. I love these cards together. They make so much sense. Okay. The fucking sun. The sun. Look at this guy. If you've seen the sun in the tarot card, you'll see how these are basically the same. This is the same image. You see a person. In the traditional tarot deck, it's like a baby. It's like a young, innocent child who's sitting on a white horse, and they're just like, yes! And the sun is right behind them and beaming. It pretty much looks just like that, except this is a grown-ass man. And he's got wings, so he's an angel. And it's Archangel Uriel. And he's coming in to just take you away to paradise. And he says to you, as he takes your hand and hoists you upon his horse, life is wonderful. Thrive through the power of positive thinking and inspiring success. I want to add a little tidbit to that. There's a difference between thinking positive for the intent of, creating positivity, and then there's being positive because you're trying to avoid something painful. You will never get a positive outcome if you're trying to do that from running away from something else. That's not what we're talking about here, no. You can try, though. It's not going to be very fun. You gotta turn towards the thing you're running away from first. And that's where you find what you're looking for. Isn't that crazy? Anyway, the Sun. So obviously this is a major arcana card. This is a major angel card. Very, very big. That means that, you know, the effects of this week are going to be there's going to be very large ripple effects of what happens to us throughout this week into the future. So, watch yourself. Pay attention to what's going on in here. Life is wonderful. Great things are headed your way. And your plans will succeed beyond your wildest dreams. Keep your thoughts and words positive, and you will thrive. Believe in yourself and those around you during this magical time in your life. Archangel Uriel brings brilliant epiphanies to those who ask for his help. Inspiring new ideas lead the way to abundance and happiness. Public recognition or awards are also very possible during this time. Additional meaning of this card is happiness, a trustworthy relationship, understanding oneself, and personal satisfaction. Archangel Uriel is the archangel known for brilliant ideas that come in golden flashes of light. He is also associated with emotional healing and understanding. Call upon him whenever you're searching for a sunny disposition that brings with it success and exuberance. Holy cow. Right? So, obviously, I love the Sun. I'm a Leo. The Sun is it's not a fucking planet. It is the literal orb of solar flares that keeps the Earth alive. And that is what rules the Leo. So I feel that very, very, very much. I associate. I can feel the joy in that. And it goes so well. It goes so well with our tarot card because this card also represents Leo, which I just found out today. I did not know that. It is the 5 of Wands reversed. We got another reversal, my friends. Hell yeah. So, what do you think about it? Obviously, I'm going to show you what it looks like upright. Get a good look at this. What's the first thing that catches your eyeballs? Yeah. It's in reverse though. But upon the first glance at it, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, obviously, straight up conflict. Like the first word that comes into mind is, oh, there's some conflict going on here, right? Straight off the bat. And usually when you first see that, you automatically think that there's kind of like some violence going on and they're like, you know, fighting to the death or whatever, you know, they're fighting to win something, fighting over something type of vibe, correct? Yeah. Correct me if I'm not reading this correctly. But, yeah. Pretty distant. When I did a little research on it, I was quite surprised actually by how much underlying deepness is within this card. We obviously can see that it is a Wands card. Wands are all about our creative abilities, the ability to create. Honestly, there's a whole process that involves creation, and that's kind of what the Wands are all about, allowing that creative spiritual energy to manifest and gestate in order to be able to manifest. You can't just keep like destroying your own creations, right? And so the Wands are, especially when it's reversed, are here to remind us that sometimes we are limiting ourselves from creating something we want. Uh-oh. That's all right. So it is, yeah, fire. It is the sign of Leo. And whenever you have a Leo in reverse, meaning a Leo who is not in their power, a Leo who is insecure, a Leo who is not tapped into their inner being, they're going to be narcissists. They're going to be very egotistical. They can only think about what serves them. They can't think about other people because they're too busy thinking about how to serve themselves. And it really just comes from a space of not ever feeling like you ever have enough. It's from a place of inadequacy and pain. And I know this more than any fucking Leo, because this is the total shadow aspect of probably any Leo on the face of the planet. Most people look at people like Leos and they're like, oh my god, they're too full of themselves. They're too confident. And whenever they're like, it shows that they're just like way too out there, and it seems like they're just so full of themselves, deep down inside, they're actually so insecure that they're trying to overcompensate. They're swinging the pendulum such the opposite way to give off this persona that they're the exact opposite. But it's not the case. And so that is, I think, the underlying vibe of this card is we have a young individual who is not quite secure in themselves, and they have this core belief that they need to be the best at everything or else they are a failure. Whew. Really heavy card right there. This is the card actually when it's upright as well. I think when it's in the reversal, it can almost be a little bit more of the releasing of that, which is a good thing, because this card upright is the total symbol of that arrogant, that everyone knows that one guy who is just like, it's quite obvious that they're not very happy with themselves just because of how much they're just trying to prove to other people how amazing their life is and how they got it all figured out, and yeah. It's funny. So other than that, this card, in a yes or no, if you pull this card, it is a no, actually. So if you have any random questions of like, okay, on the fence about anything, the answer is probably going to be no. And obviously it represents the sun. Sun is all about our ego and our identity too, and that's a big thing with, being a Leo. I could say that they have such a big ego, which just means that they're very identified with their beliefs. That's really what the sun means, are the things that we take as a part of ourselves. Be like, okay, I'm going to adopt all of these beliefs, and anything outside of that conflicts with that is going to trigger me. And, I'm just going to start causing a bunch of drama because of that, because I don't have the same belief as you. It's just that idea of not allowing yourself to have an open mind to other ideas, too. Because you just think, I'm always right, right? Fucking Leos, pieces of shit. Okay, so let's get further into the illustration so we can really understand how this is coming at us with this card. Hello, thank you guys for being here with me. Appreciate you. Sorry, I go off on tangents. I just am really passionate about this, and I keep hitting my giraffe in the face. So, I'm so sorry. Alright, so we're going to look at this nice little ensemble here. So there are 5 men. The number 5, that is the energy of this card as well. 5 is always kind of the card of change, the card of there's going to be a conflict. Usually, like the number 5 just holds a breaking point. I think it's like you have a decision to break through something or stay stuck in something. I feel like that's kind of the energy of it. There needs to be a change because there's a huge conflict showing up. 5 energy. It's not the most... the energy of something needs to happen, something needs to move, because this is just going to keep getting more uncomfortable from where you are. You have no other option. It's just going to get more uncomfy. So, there are 5 men on this, and they're fighting. They appear to be in great conflict. And they're comparing sticks. They're comparing their sticks and using them against each other for the imaginary medal of superiority. Let that sink in for a moment. They're using their sticks, aka almost even saying like their personality, the person that they're trying to portray themselves to be. And they're using them against each other for the imaginary medal of superiority, of thinking, okay, I'm better than all of these people, obviously. But if you look closer, it is as if they are almost play fighting or causing conflict for no reason other than to just create drama. Look at it quite closely. None of them are actually hitting each other. They're just kind of like, throwing, playing with their sticks together. Don't judge. They're all dressed, and this is another thing that I noticed right away, actually, when I first saw this card, is like, none of these people have like any kind of similar attire. They all have different, it's having a hard time showing it, but the guy in the very, very kind of front has like a blue and white leotard. And I think the guy in the red is the most prominent character right there. He's kind of like the main guy, even though there are 5 of them all together. He's kind of like the center dude right there. And they're all dressed differently, which means that they all are coming from completely different backgrounds. They have different ways of perceiving the world and thinking about the way the world works and how connection works and how you relate to others. And you come in with all these set beliefs about the way things like should be, and all of these people are coming together and butting heads and having arguments and just trying to defend their position. And they're all triggered. They're all triggering each other because none of them actually do have any sense of secure self. So they've all triggered each other's beliefs, and they don't know what to do about it because their belief system was super, super fragile to begin with, because they didn't have anything to really hold on to that was their true, authentic self, because they believed that value came in having status and being the best, So that's kind of what the energy of this guy in the middle is feeling. It's their sense of self. They're all competing with their egos. All of them are slashing up against each other. And they're clashing with it's the opposing viewpoints. Just being like, I think this way and it's the right way, and just be like, no. And you're both just doing the impossible task of trying to, quote unquote, convince that's what you're going to say. I'm just trying to convince you that I'm right. When what you're really just trying to do is seek out some kind of external sense of just, yeah, fuck you, like, I'm at the top, I know everything. It's just bullshit because nobody does. So it's this ego trip that we sometimes fall into. It is a very common Leo thing. So the main man in the middle, he is convinced. Right there. He's got a hat on. He's the only person with a hat on, actually. He's convinced that he must win. And he has to be the best. Or else he will see himself as a complete loser. He is unaware of his own power, therefore he needs to compensate for his feelings of inadequacy, and believes that external achievements will bring him that sense of security and, you know, confidence when, oh, honey, no. No, it will not. So that is the energy of this card when it's upright. Comparing peepees sometimes. It's not the best. So, but we got this card in reversed. And when I first got this card, I pulled this card on Sunday. And I didn't really do a lot of investigating on it up until, honestly, this morning. And I really, really thought that when it was reversed, it was kind of saying that this meant that simply that it was just taking it to a much harsher level. It was like your ego has been so blown out that, like, you need to chill the fuck out, like, or else something horrible is gonna happen. And I didn't read anything else about it up until this morning, and then I read more about it today, and I was like, oh, that's not really what this card is about. It's almost the coming out of that, it can go either way, truly, with this card, but for the most part, I think it leans more towards the coming out of your ego, the recognition of your ego, in a sense, and kind of in a way remembering once again that you are not a victim, you're a creator. So the keywords for when it's reversed are going to be inner conflict. So straight away with that lets you know that anything that you experience this week, I mean, this goes for every week, it's just a reflection. If it's external conflict, it's a reflection of an internal conflict. The next time you get triggered, instead of being like, oh God, get away, this uncomfortable emotion, or falling into just a negative pattern of blaming the other person and being like, oh, blah, 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 blah. No, instead of that, you just lean into the trigger and almost see it as an opportunity to better understand what kind of inner conflict is going on inside of you all the time, so that you can dig it up and take care of it and uproot the pain, so that the external conflict can just simply disappear, because you're not feeling that all the time inside of you, waiting for it to happen. Easier said than done. Another thing is it's all about the releasing. I feel like a lot of this card is the releasing of tension, the releasing of your avoidance behaviors, the kind of what we were talking about was running away from these cards. It's so funny that we both got these cards at the same time too, because they're both kind of representating of the Leo, and the light of the Leo, Archangel Uriel. You know, when a Leo is in their power, they're inspiring. They're just naturally inspiring. They're like the sun, that just them existing and being just shines, and they just want to be the light in everyone's life. They want to care for people and just tell them how much they love them all the time, and they just want to show how much they love people in every physical way possible that they know how. And that's the light of this, and that's why the shadow of it is so like polar opposite and dangerous. Honestly, there's nothing more dangerous than somebody who's disconnected from their own light. Honestly, the further disconnected you are, the more easier it is for you to make decisions that are harming yourself and other people, because it doesn't hurt you. You don't feel connected to anything, so it doesn't matter what you do. But the closer you get to the sun and releasing the resentments and the tensions and all of the crazy stuff that goes on in your mind all the time, and you release all of that, it's kind of like how you see like the sun peeking through all of that. You just start feeling like these gaps in your mind, and they're really like these, kind of how Archangel Uriel was talking about, these blips of epiphanies and these lights, a light of just like feeling your consciousness kind of creep in. And it's something that's far beyond your ego or your identity, far beyond the sun. It is the eternal part of you, and that is the part of you that is confident and does have all of these no insecurities because it is limitless and knows that there are infinite possibilities, and the only limitations are the ones that we impose on ourselves by our limited mindsets, by our egos. So it's up to us to find our limits and see if we want them to stick around or not. On the lighter side, it can represent harmony and truces. Maybe there has been external conflict going on, and you're feeling that sense of things finally starting to kind of come back together and reach a state of maybe inner peace within yourself or inner harmony in your love life with your partner or your family members or just yourself. Either way, it all kind of goes together. There's a strange sense of, I thought this was very weird, when this is reversed, it can say that there's a shyness. You can feel kind of shy. And there might be a need to feel like you need to control. Like, these are a lot of things that involve this when it's upright. Feeling like you need to control everything, external circumstances, because you don't have the internal safety. You don't feel like you can just be anywhere and let things be as they are, because you are not steady within yourself, right? And so you might be coming aware of those limiting beliefs within yourself this week, and you feel like, wow, I really do feel like I need to control all of these external circumstances and kind of present myself as intimidating to get people to do what I want. Observing just the way that you interact with other people and the way that you think you're going to get what you want to get by doing, like, acting this certain way, right? Having a suppressed temper too, having stress, stuff that you don't verbalize or ever express outwards, but it's just kind of ruminating in there. It's rotting you. You gotta express it, even if it's just like writing something down. Telling somebody else is a great way to do it. This card is all about, it's the opposite of conflict. It is the, let's put down our sticks, let's put down our tiny little peepees, and let's just be here and actually get to the important part. The part that we're ignoring, we're just, throwing all of these sticks so that we don't actually have to pay attention to the actual issue going on, right? And once you stop that, you can't ignore it, unfortunately. But then once you acknowledge it, that is when you can truly experience, I think, what is the key reversal of this card, which is the natural thing that happens is finding a solution. It's a natural byproduct of you just letting go of all of the stuff that hasn't been letting you feel the solution come to you naturally. It's kind of like, when people have like little dog syndrome, like dogs who think that they're just like big, tough meanie heads because they're just like so small, and you could kick them across the room if you really wanted to, but they want to give off the vibe that they're like this. Yeah. It's that kind of personality type, that feeling like you need to defend yourself all the time because you're not secure in yourself. So everything that you identify with is on quicksand. And so anytime it's ever rubbed up against, you're like, oh shit, my entire foundation of who I think I am is collapsing, because you don't have a strong sense of self. That is also the light of the Leo sign, is being able to define and have a very strong sense of self, being able to face yourself, your warts and everything, every single aspect of you, and turn it and be like, I take you as a part of me. I'm not going to run away from you or resist you. It's a crazy card. But I think it's a beautiful sign. I don't know. There's a lot of light and love in these two cards. Whenever there is the sun, I just feel like my heart beams. So, the key things that I got from these two cards together for me to watch out for this week for us generally, just generally, is to observe how you compare yourself to others. In what way? I've been hearing this quote a lot, is that comparison is the greatest thief of joy. And when you don't really understand what is taking place when you compare, I can see how you just be like, not really. I mean, it depends on who you're comparing yourself to, right? But comparison truly is the game of just comparing, looking at somebody, and usually from such a very limited perspective of your own, from just one point of view, with very limited information usually, and conceptualizing it to be completely true, this whole idea that you have about this person and yourself, and who's above who on this imaginary scale that you have of who is better and who is not. And it's really not anything that really exists, because every single one of us have such unlimited potential for excellence in so many different places in the world, and some of them are kind of in the same general area, but they're not even close to being down to the same detail, right? All of us are genetically and spiritually gifted in such different ways. It's not something that you can even really compare to. Like, if you see it from true source perspective, it's a ridiculous thing to conceptualize the idea of comparing the worth of two different people, no matter who they are, whether it's a freaking homeless person or Trump. Like, it doesn't matter. Every single one of us. Now, whether or not we choose to do the work in order to find those gifts, that's up to us, right? And that's where usually it can be kind of hard for us to notice. Obviously, physically, obviously, like, you can think, oh my gosh, that person is obviously not doing anything with their life, I'm so much better than him. It's so easy for us to see things at face value and just make such quick judgments about the way things are, and we don't even realize that the more and more we do that kind of stuff, and we don't really question ourselves or think about what we're thinking, is we're just a whole bundle of these stupid judgments that don't even make us feel good, right? And so you got to start observing the self-talk that you have in regards to how you relate to all the people around you, like all of these people who are also feeling your energy when they walk into a room and they feel you, and whatever kind of dialogue you have going on in your mind, it's affecting them as well, and it's all interconnected. Everybody can feel it. So I think that's the big thing for this week, honestly, is just to observe that in yourself, these judgments that you have about yourself. When I do too. I have the worst. I'm horrible. Honestly, I don't even know really how to relate to other musicians, because I just don't like. I have some strange limited beliefs in regards to being able to admire another person's work, because I feel extremely inadequate of my work. So I know that that's what I need to work on this week. Hooray, right? So it's easy to kind of just really think about the past couple of weeks, the moments that have really triggered you. They're opportunities, believe it or not. I know they're scary, but they're beautiful once you figure out why they're there and that you can do something with them. And once you do, everything gets better. Another thing this week for reversed is when this comes reversed, when it's upright, it can maybe mean that you're experiencing some conflict going on, or, you know, you're having some ego issues. When it's reversed, it could mean that maybe you're dealing with another person who is trying to put you down. They see you and your power and all of your glory, and they themselves are so insecure in themselves that they have no idea what to do with themselves. So their only prerogative is to try to take you down with them, because they don't think that they can ever be where you are. They're like, my only thing that I can do is do everything in my power to actually sabotage you. Scary, right? My goodness. When you meet someone like that, you can usually tell right off the bat. Sometimes, depends on how empathic you are, obviously, and intuitive. But you could be like, this person is hurting. This person does not know, does not believe that they really have the power to create their lives. They feel like they are true victims of the world, and that's just how we are on this world, in this world. Victims of circumstance. And there's nothing you can do. You can't think differently, you can't say something. All of your external circumstances are just fucking being thrown at you randomly. And that's such a scary reality to live in. And it makes you think that all I can do is try to best control the external circumstances as best as I can, because there's nothing else that I can do. And it's not true. But it feels true when you're living in that reality, right? So have patience with yourself. It's a process of, I feel like right now is that really uncomfortable feeling of just turning towards, for the first time, maybe, that thing that is really, 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 you've been running away from it for so long. And this is that moment of just finally you stop and you're just like, all right, I'm ready to turn around and just take you all in and see you for what it really is, because I'm finally ready to listen, you know? Instead of fighting and trying to bark back all of my opinions back at you and tell you how much I am right all the time and you just need to conform to my ideas, it's that moment of just being like, wow, okay, maybe I should just listen. Wow, yeah. Ooh, another thing this week is it's a fun time to discover and play with playing with your natural gifts, your natural interests. Figure out all the things that really just make your heart sing. There's so many. There's so many things we were destined and here to do, and the only way to know that you do it is to figure it out, explore and try new things, and fall in love with new things. And there will be things that you never want to do ever again, and that's okay. You never have to. Ha! That's how that works. There are people you never want to see again. You don't have to. Set up boundaries and you don't have to. Wow. Right? It's all up to you, though. Know thyself. Knowing... Oh, that's the whole thing of it, too. Coming to know yourself. Developing a strong sense of who you are. Because once you have that inner fire in your heart, that inner steady, calm sea that cannot be shaken by anything... Externally, you can be anywhere. You can be around anybody, and you'll show up and be your best self, and you're going to be hilarious. You're going to be the life of the party. Everyone else is going to be in their stupid, conflicting, offended mindset, and you're going to be able to just laugh at them. Not in a mean way. In a way of like, oh, I remember when that's what my mindset looked like. And I have a lot of compassion for you, actually. It's fun to laugh and see myself in it. It's a compassionate space. And seeing your values as well. The things that you value are everything. If you don't have that value system, you just say yes to everything. Nope. This card is in the no, too, so remember that. Reversed or upright, no. I think that's actually one of our first cards that mean no. Most of them would say yes. I just remember that. And another thing with this being reversed is watch out for this week if you see yourself being very avoidant of any kind of conflict. If you see yourself external conflict, internal conflict, anytime you feel a little tiny twinge of discomfort, do you just go, oh my God, no, and you just like run far away and you just run towards something to make you feel better instantly, whether it's getting on your phone and looking at fucking memes when someone says something you don't like, or smoking something once you're like, you see something on freaking TikTok that makes you pissed off, you know? Notice those little twinges of discomfort when something is said, and in that moment, you can separate yourself from if it's an external circumstance or a feeling, you can separate yourself and just focus on the feeling that situation brought upon you. Not even so much the situation anymore, but the actual feeling that it brought upon within you. That's the only thing that really matters in that moment. And once you do that, that's when you actually start having a relationship with yourself, an aspect of yourself that you've been running away from. Wow, right? Because it's scary and it's painful, and we associate that pain with something that's bad, but what it really is just a crying child who's like, oh my God, please help me because something's not right, and I need you to just sit here and listen and just be here with me while I feel this triggered. Because the trigger is a false belief coming up to the surface, a false belief being challenged from an external situation, bringing up the fact, kind of the validity of this belief that I identify with not being actually true. Yikes. And that it happens to all of us. We all get triggered. It's your ego being threatened. It's the whole thing of Buddha and Mara, the enlightened and the ego. And when the ego starts going blah 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 and starts having its melodramatic come apart, the last thing that Buddha is going to do is tell that ego aspect, no, like, you're not going to just hammer it and be like, that's not true, blah 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 blah. You need to just validate. It's the sun, the sun doesn't go in there and just like make anything happen. The sun, it just is, and its light just is there to be with the pain. And your attention, you gotta imagine it like that. It's like when you get triggered, imagine yourself, you're going about your day, something triggers you, boom, imagine your attention, your focus as pure as like a beaming flash of sunlight upon that trigger, just upon it, and give it all of your undivided focus and let it just say whatever it wants to say, do whatever it wants to do. And that's a lot of the completion process. If you guys have ever gotten into that, all of these tarot cards, I feel like at the end of the day, kind of, in a sense, kind of tell you that you need to do the completion process at the end of the day, because it's getting to know yourself, getting to know the aspects of yourself that are holding you back and limiting you, that you're completely unaware of. It's your subconscious programming, just your knee-jerk reactions to life that don't make you a creator. They do make you a victim, because you're choosing not to see yourself and know yourself. And that is a true Leo in their power, is one that is not afraid to be a true Leo, be courageous, and even when there is fear, still being a lion and doing it anyway. Yay. So that's kind of the general thing to look out for. It's a huge card for this week, I think. We can move on to the love reading. If you're in a relationship or starting to get in a relationship, or you've been in a relationship for a little bit while, this is the love reading. You may be experiencing the end of some arguments and fights that have been present lately. Expect this week to challenge you, though, still, in your ability to be completely honest with them, because that's what a true healthy relationship at the end of the day, the healthiest one is going to be the one where there is the most authentic exchange of emotional authenticity and vulnerability between both people, constantly, back and forth. The minute one person is suppressing something, there's a blockage in that exchange, and it affects both parties, because they're supposed to be taking each other in as a part of each other. So, buckle up. If you have any bottled up resentment, any envy, any immature thoughts about them, any avoidance behaviors, things that should probably be talked about, that you guys kind of just beating around the bush, you're ordering takeout instead, or going to see a movie, you're doing all these distracting things so you don't have to talk about the elephant in the room. I guess that stops this week. Something's probably going to happen that makes that unable to be avoided anymore, which is a good thing. Just the ego trips of relationships. It happens to the best of us, especially the more and more you get to know somebody. You just kind of have this conceptualized idea of who that person is, who their identity is, and vice versa. So you guys are kind of aware of each other's patterns, and if someone isn't working on something particularly, or one person's growing at a particular pace that another person is not, that's when incompatibility is introduced, and it happens all the time, and it's a natural thing that's supposed to happen, but it does mean that a relationship isn't really possible with that person if you guys are on two different levels of consciousness. RIP, right? So if you notice that happening, go through the riffs of that, knowing that which you resist will persist. If you know that there's something that's not quite right going on, and you're just kind of letting it sit at the bottom, it's gonna start rotting all the way up your soul. Don't do it. This is a good week for us just becoming aware of some limited perspectives that we have, especially in your relationship. If you're in a relationship, this could be a really cool awakening time for you to realize some things in yourself and in your partner that you both have never even known about yourself or each other, and you're like, wow, if I had known that, and it just allows you guys to just become that more closer when you guys share that form of intimacy with each other, and it makes your bond even stronger rather than making it tear you guys apart, because the ego just wants to separate. And it'll let you. If you let it, it'll do it. It's hard. It's tough shit. Relationships are the hardest. I salute to you people who try to do that crazy shit. If you're brave enough to express all of those aspects of your being in a mature way to your partner, and vice versa, your relationship is going to thrive. You guys, that shows that you guys are truly committed to not only yourselves, but each other. You guys are committed to cultivating this thing together. With all of the wands, a relationship is a creative agreement to continuously do what's in the best interest of yourself and the other person. And it's this constant awareness game that we play of because everything outside of us is constantly shifting, so we have to start becoming more and more aware of how do we feel now. All of these things are going on, and it's bringing up stuff in us that we didn't know we had coming into our relationship, and now it's coming up, and you're like, what do I do with this now that I'm with this person and all this childhood crap is resurfacing? That's how you're going to know that you've met the one. You have met this person who is actually going to provide you a space, a calm space to just be and allow you to go through that so that you can actually heal. So if you've achieved that, congratulations. Good for you. I'm not going to compare dicks now, but good job. And if you're noticing that that is not the case, and you do have a lot of other crap going up, and you're in a relationship and you're not dealing with any of your suppressed garbage, then expect a rough week. Expect no resolution. Expect nothing to get better. Expect the conflicts to just keep getting larger and larger and larger until there might be some crazy outburst, whether it's from you or him, or just like, I noticed that whenever, when someone's in so much resistance to something, the kind of conflict that they can create in an external environment is crazy. Like people can make the most strangest of circumstances happen just because of the things they're thinking about. So, watch your mind. If you're single, your love life is lacking a spark at the moment, it says. Which is super weird. I feel like our last cards so far, all of the cards that we've gotten so far for single people has just said, don't do it. Nope, this isn't even a time to look at people. You just need to focus on meditation. Honestly, I feel like most of them would just say, you're good, stay alone, focus on yourself, get to know thyself, which makes so much sense, and I've definitely been resonant with that myself these past couple of weeks. I did not feel like I was in the space to even try to connect to people in any way, and now I know why. It's so much, in hindsight, it makes so much sense from this perspective, because now I know I was nowhere near in my power during that time. And if you go out and you assign value and worth in all of these people outside of you and think that those are the people that make meaning in your life, you've got yourself a problem. Because now you've allowed nothing but external circumstances to control the way that you feel. Yikes! Giving all of your power away. All of it. Because you never had it. You went out and you thought that you'd find it in other people. And so then you thought you did. Until you realized that those people are not reliable for sticking around for eternity. And so I feel like that's very, very funny that this is just now saying this. It says just, it's lacking a spark at the moment. Do you feel too shy to enter the world and meet new people? You must recognize what values and skills, talents, and personality traits that you possess, that you have, and share them. Observe any feelings of intimidation towards finding new people to connect to, and release an anxiety by increasing your awareness about the feeling behind the anxiety. So I felt like that was very, very interesting. It was just a little different from what it has been saying. I think it's the creeping of, when you do come into your power, you do start having this sense of, oh my gosh, it really doesn't matter if I do come into contact with a super crazy psychotic person, I can not engage. Like, I am the creator. I can choose. I can pick and choose who I give my energy to now. It's not just this crazy, I go out and I'm just spilling all of my guts out to anybody who will drink it, right? It's this, I have the key. And I don't give it to nobody. It stays in my belly button? I guess so. That makes sense, actually, because it's in the solar plexus chakra. That does make sense, actually. So, yeah, just a little tidbit of something. Really, if you are in a state where you're like me, you're a hermit, and you know that it's probably not very healthy for you emotionally, physically, mentally, or basically in any way humanly possible, because humans thrive off of connection. Yeah. You can't just go out and be like, okay, I know every single time I've gone out, I've just experienced pain, but maybe this time it'll be different. No. You have to really get to know the anxiety, get to know the feeling behind, really think about your last relationship experience and why it was so horrible, and get all the feelings back, and then address all of those feelings that you have, because everything's just going to be a repeat of the past if you don't fix the underlying reason as to why you're attracting the same person in just different bodies. Whew, I know. It's a crazy thing, but people make it happen. Just keep meditating. Never stop meditating. The more you meditate, the more you are just naturally becoming more aware of everything inside of yourself. Everything. Money. Teamwork makes the dream work. You may have compassionately managed to create a positive solution in a work conflict this week, maybe. That might happen. Wouldn't that be nice? Or maybe you finally said, fuck this to your job, and you're turning away from some kind of cutthroat industry and moving on to something that you know will serve you better. Observe any competition towards coworkers. It's a big thing, obviously, for all of us, people in the workplace. I mean, that's probably the general place where most people compare from one another, is what they're doing professionally, right? You see how when someone says, oh, I do this, we build these mental, almost all of us, we have this mental, it's a status. It's what status does that classify as? I'm a cop. I'm a stripper. I'm a volunteer. I'm whatever somebody says, you give this mental idea of, oh, this is who you are. This is what you do. Oh, you do that. Yeah, we get these judgments. And what those judgments do is nothing but harm us. They don't really do anything but make us have a less than amazing experience. Imagine someone coming up to you and just being like, hey, hi, I'm a priest by day and I don't freaking know, a nightclub stripper by night, and you just not caring at all, just being kind of like, oh my god, how cool, amazing, you don't have any opinions because you're not attached to strippers, or you don't have a resistant relationship to strippers or priests. You're just kind of cool. That's what happens when we disidentify from all of those judgments. We go out into the world and people can just be who they are because we don't have any resistance to any of it anymore. People can have their melodrama and you're just sitting there I know I do. People think I'm crazy though, so that's why I don't have any coworkers. Anyway, Financially speaking, it says that this week, either your financial situation is either going to get a whole lot better or a whole lot worse. And I think that obviously just depends on your relationship to your income. So if you feel like that's the part of your life that you have the least amount of confidence in, go straight into it. Turn towards it. I should probably do that. Health. Unsuccessfully fighting illness. Even if it's, I think, either way, when it's reversed or upright, this card means that you're failing to properly handle something. And it's probably stress. You're developing physical symptoms, so you're believing, that you have this problem, you're old, or you're just getting old, or, your body's just finally failing on you, you just have all of these crazy, crazy thoughts about what you think is going on, when really the byproduct of all of these symptoms is what you are doing to yourself mentally and emotionally, and what you're not doing to yourself too. It's very, very funny. This actually said this specifically when I did a little bit of research on the health of it. It said, when you do not properly handle your stress, this will lead to disease, potentially heart attack or stroke. Watch for serious sports injuries as well. Kind of makes sense, all right, with these people who are kind of engaging in play sports games. So yeah, take care of yourself. Your greatest form of wealth is your peace of mind. Truly. You can have all the money in the world. You never have to work a day in your life. You'll never if you have all of these external things made for you, but deep down in here, you do not feel good about anything, and you're not dealing with your demons, because we all got them. Unfortunately, our demons don't allow us to just buy them out. Oops. That's a good thing, right? It is. So, it's a time to meditate. I should probably make my family meditate. Get to know thyself. Really sit down with yourself and ask yourself if your lifestyle is sustainable or not, or if going in this direction is not just going to lead you towards more pain. Spirituality. Your spiritual journey could be allowing you, when it's in reversed, your spiritual journey is allowing your inner conflict to resurface. As we were talking about, all the gunk, all the childhood trauma that comes up during specific points of your life to just say hey again. They come back up. And in that moment, that is where we show where we are in our spiritual development as to whether we choose to move in the direction towards the pain or run away from it. And if you go towards it, then you have made the decision to resolve that entire internal conflict within yourself, which gives you this entirely new, renewed sense of calmness and inner peace and harmony. It is putting the puzzle piece back together. Oh my gosh. Guys, those are our cards. That is them. We have the Five of Wands reversed and the Sun. Literally both of these. Big Leo energy, you guys. Gosh, if you're an asshole, this is gonna be a week for you. But I feel really, really good about this card. I feel like this is the getting the ball rolling, because the sun is so powerful. Like, this is such a positive card. I know that this card right here is a little bit kind of like, ooh, because it's real. It's the card of getting to know thyself, turning towards even the not so nice, pretty parts of yourself, you know, and being able to look at them and still say, I take you as a part of me. Because that's the only way true healing can begin. So throughout this week, just remember, check your ego. Follow your heart. Follow your gut. Remember how fucking powerful you are. And your thoughts. Literally. You have the ability to create worlds. But you have to tap in to that power. It's in there. Go look for it. Okay? Love you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your Tarot Tuesday and Tarot freaking World Tarot Day, you guys. I don't know. I'm going to do tarot readings later today for you guys. I don't know if I should do some kind of tarot, World Tarot. I don't know what I could do. Honestly, I'll figure something out. But yeah, I'm going to be doing readings, so if you guys want to hop on and get a reading on World Tarot Day, I hope to see you there. See ya! Bye!